Hello everybody, if you are currently on the Volusion platform and you're trying to migrate to Shopify or Shopify Plus, you've come to the right place. At Optimum 7, we've done thousands of migrations in the past 6 years. Now, we handle these migrations a little differently than all of our competitors. We don't export-import CSV files or database files, and we don't use automated software to do this migration, because these strategies do not work. Let me explain. If you are doing millions of dollars on the Volusion platform, you probably have millions of records. You have thousands of products, probably tens of thousands of customers, and probably thousands of orders. Now just think about all the fields that you have on Volusion. The database infrastructures of Volusion are different than Shopify. The character limits are different than Shopify. The special characters are different than Shopify. So, if you use an export-import, or if you use a software, the fields are not going to be validated properly, the databases are not going to be connected to one another, and you will have a really crappy Shopify site. So, what we do is we take everything through the API of Volusion, we validate it on our system, and we push everything into Shopify, again, through the API in a validated fashion. This means that you will not have a bunch of bugs on your new Shopify site. You will not have any issues in terms of customers being able to order. You will not have 404 errors and issues with your URLs. And that's another important point. Your URL structures are going to change. So a lot of agencies actually drop the ball on this initiative, which is the 301 redirects. You don't want to migrate from Volusion to Shopify and find out that your URLs are broken and your rankings have disappeared. And this happens very often, especially when people use these export-import functions or they use a software. After doing all of that in the right manner, we also suggest conversion optimization elements for you. We suggest an AI search and filter and pre-checkout upsell and post-checkout upsell functionalities to maximize your average order volume and your lifetime value and minimize your cost per acquisition. Watch the rest of this video to see at what level we execute a migration project such as this one.
This documentation shows migration from BigCommerce to Shopify, but it's essentially the same documentation that we've created for all the different platforms. The steps might change, the details might change, the API might change, but the process remains the same. So if you look at the BigCommerce to Shopify process here, as you can see, we have database commands, we have migration commands, and we have the entire URL structures and everything. Because different platforms have different URL structures and the different special characters, limitations, there are so many exceptions, right? Not only that, if you look at our GitHub account, on GitHub, we have done these migrations before. So we have full code on how we validate the products, the customers, the orders, how we tie them together, how we process HTML if you have HTML on your product pages on BigCommerce that need to move over to Shopify. Now, BigCommerce and Shopify manage options and variables differently, right? There is actually some sort of limitation on Shopify with your options, where you cannot have unlimited options. So we validate all of this information through our code because we've done this thousands of times. And if you look at this, you'll see all kinds of migration processes here, and every single piece of code basically makes sure that we validate this information through the API. This is not an export-import of a CSV file. You cannot do migration for a website that does millions of dollars annually through an automated software. The software is not going to validate any of this. Now, if you want to look at the documentation, there's a more detailed documentation that we have here. It has all these types of manual links. It has the different exceptions based on, what you can do on BigCommerce, but what you cannot do on Shopify, vice versa. Again, character limitations, the special characters, the errors that you might have. And we do all of this through our process here. As you can see, this is a very detailed execution. Why do we do it this way? Because it's very important that you don't lose organic ranks and you don't get 404s, because your traffic is going to drop, your sales are going to drop. It's very painful. We have a lot of prospects that used automated software and the migration did not go well and they didn't work with an expert, and they come back and they're like, well, we lost 50% of our traffic. We lost 60% of our sales. So you don't want that to happen to you. The last thing is if you actually, again, go to optimum7.com/migrations page, you will see, let me show you that really quickly. You will see a detailed checklist that you can download here, the 125-step platform migration checklist. And that checklist looks like this. It will help you throughout the process, the platform selection, the planning, the actual migration, the storefront, the backend, the checkout, the data, the integration, and anything that has to do with the marketing, social media tracking as well. I strongly suggest that you download this because it will help you plan your entire migration process. Now, of course, we want everybody to do their due diligence. Whenever you do this kind of migration, look at examples, look at case studies of whomever you're going to work with. I'll show you some from Optimum 7. We migrated RC Superstore. It's the site that we worked on. Specialist ID, Good Counsel, Tease to Your Door, Echo Enclose. And if you actually look at this, like what happened after the migration process, I think we migrated this site in 2016. I think we migrated this in 2017. You'll see the database growth in terms of organic visibility. So their metrics have actually improved because whenever you do a platform migration, you want to go to a speed and mobile first website, and you have to pay attention to the mobile usability metrics, and you have to make certain improvements to design. And from a conversion standpoint, you have to implement certain functionalities like search and filter. And this is all an effect of that because Google pays attention to how because everybody has analytics, Google pays attention to how your users and your customers interact with your website. Okay, so do your due diligence definitely to go through the process, but this is very, very important. Please make sure you do the 3.0 and redirects properly at the end. That's one of the most important aspects of this. You don't want to lose your ranks. You don't want to lose money. You don't want to lose the authority that you've worked so hard to build. And if you have any questions, please let us know. Thank you.
Welcome back. I hope this video was helpful for all of you out there who are trying to migrate from Volusion to Shopify or Shopify Plus. If you have any questions about this process, please comment below or contact us at optimum7.com and we will be happy to guide you in the right direction.